Hey guys, out here at Celebration, lot number 82. We are getting ready to demonstrate how we do our homeowner orientations, to go over everything, features and functions of the home, answer any questions that they might have, get them familiarized with their house. I always like to meet them at the street if possible, meet and greet them out here, and then walk them into the house. Once we get into the home, I kind of explain how we're going to go through the process, and that way we know how we're going to manage and go through the whole orientation. So we're going to head on in. So I usually allow them to be the first ones to walk into the house. Otherwise, I like to just bring them in, head into the kitchen. In here at the kitchen, we have our computer already, set up with the forms, the homeowner orientation form, along with the positive drainage. I go ahead and fill everything out. That way, it just, expedites the process as we're going through the orientation. So I have all their information filled out, ready to go with the orientation form, also with the drainage form. Also, I'll bring them some bottle of water. And then we have the clear folder in here. The first page talks about Avid, so it gives them a preview of what to expect with Avid. And then inside has all the appliance manuals, the registration card, some other information as well with some manuals. So I'll explain and go over that. I'll also explain the warranty information pack. Explain to them that this is something that they can reference, that they can go through if they have any questions. What's homeowners' responsibilities, what's covered under warranty. So that's also something good to have and explain to them. The warranty request handout as well. So this is going to walk them through how to submit a warranty request, after hour emergency numbers too, for air conditioning, for appliances, for electrical, along with plumbing and garage door numbers. So all of that's on there. Once we get done with these pages, I'll let them know that we're going to leave it in one of the drawers, but I also like to explain and talk to them about the garbage disposal key. So we'll show them that as well. And then just talk to them about Sherwin-Williams, that's the paint company that we use. Also explain how if they were to take this in, they can get a free gallon of interior exterior paint through Sherwin-Williams. So, I bring them into the house, kind of make some small talk with them, go over things, ask if this is their first homeowner experience and with building a new home. That way you can kind of just figure out how the whole process is going to go, if it's something that they're familiar with or something that we're going to have to actually walk them through. So ask them if they have any questions up front, and then take them back to the front door, and then we're going to just follow the wall throughout the entire home. From here we'll go to the garage, and then we'll walk to the outside. So we're going to actually go back towards the front door. And just some stuff I like to kind of go over and touch on. One, here at this community, we do the keypad battery operated lock. So I explain how that works, features and functions, talk to them about the 4 AA batteries in the back of it. Also going to explain the adjustable threshold, how the 3 screws will raise this portion of it up or down. So if it's ever dragging or if there's ever any light underneath it, they know how to adjust that, hopefully reduce any service calls. Talk to them about the 2 light switches here. So you got the one for the outdoor light, and also the lights overhead. So we got all that. We are going to follow the wall along the left-hand side here. So as I go through the home, I explain all the outlets, if they're just standard outlets or if they're going to be maybe a half-hot outlet. Talk to them about windows, dual pane, vinyl frame window, double low E, so very energy efficient. I also explained to them how at rough-in stage before drywall, we seal all the way around the window with spray foam insulation, so it creates a nice tight seal. I explained to them, you know, just to kind of look over the wall, see if they have any questions or concerns. I also explained to them that, you know, we, the construction team, will go through the whole house after orientation, mark it for drywall, paint. If there was any grout touch-up or anything like that, that will also get them back in here. But if they see something, to let us know so we can make a note, and then we can transfer that over to the orientation paperwork. So, you know, again, just going to follow the wall throughout here. Standard outlet. Another standard outlet here. This home got window treatments, so I like to talk about standard features along with any upgrades. So we got all the window treatments here throughout the house. Another standard outlet here. The one flipped upside down, I show how that works and operates. So that just indicates it is a switched or half-hot outlet, and point out where those switches are. So this is actually a three-way half-hot, so there's two switches for it. Overhead in the great room, one of the options they chose was recessed can. So the package that included the recessed can lighting. Ceiling fan pre-wire. Comes with two switches, one for the blades and one for a light kit if they had a light kit on the fan. And then just again, continually down the wall here, talk to them about sliding glass door, and then all the switches over here. So 3 of the switches are going to pertain to the outside. So you'd have one for the coach light, 2 for the ceiling fan pre-wire on the back patio, and then the 4th switch here is going to be one of the switches that is going to control that half hot. So, you know, we've talked about that. I also have them open and close all the windows as they go through, or I do that to demonstrate how that works, just so we know that they all open and close smoothly. Leading here into the master bedroom. In all the bedrooms, I'm going to touch on some of the same things. So one would be heating and cooling supply vent. So you got the air supply overhead. In the master bedroom, it has its own air return. So I talked to them about filter replacement and how often they need to do that. Overhead, right above the door, would be smoke detector. So the smoke detector here in the ceiling, this is strictly smoke. I'll explain carbon monoxide ones as well. Tell them about how they're hardwired with a battery backup. And when you do replace the battery, to make sure you sync them all by holding the test button in until they all go off throughout the entire home. So as we lead into here, we have supplied this home with the 2 USB plugs, usually on the bed wall. There is no half-hot outlet in the master because of those USB plugs. But with that, so we can get through code, we do provide them with a light overhead installed at the fan pre-wire, so that would work also for ceiling fan. On this wall here, we have data and coax. That's one of the options in the package. All the bedrooms, along with the great room and kitchen, all have data and coax. So talk to them about that. Again, have them kind of look over the walls, see if there's any questions or anything like that with drywall and paint. And then going to lead here into the master bath. So some stuff I like to touch on in the master bathroom. Again, of course, the switches for your lighting, your exhaust fan. Talk to them about the GFI outlets. So in here, per code, all the GFI resets are actually in the breaker box at the panel, so they're no longer at the outlets themselves. So I'll explain that. Turn on and off the faucets, along with underneath here, underneath the vanities. Talk to them about the water shutoffs. So they're all push and pull underneath here. So you would go ahead to demonstrate that, pull those out to show that the water's been turned off, and then push them back in. Also, when I'm underneath here, I like to explain that they do want to check the fittings periodically to just make sure that they're nice and snug, hand tight. You wouldn't want to put a wrench on them. They are plastic, so you could, tighten them too much and break them. Again, goes over the windows. We look over the shower, usually turn that on to just demonstrate that that operates hot and colds in the correct positions. And then coming further in for the where the toilet is, talk to them about the water shutoff. Explain lighting features along with the exhaust fan overhead. Again, make sure that the door is shut and latched properly. Look around the room just for grout touch-up or anything that might pertain to the flooring. Leading into the master closet, just explain shelving, your attic access overhead. Talk to them about the heat pump. Also like to brush up on the spray foam insulation, so explain not only the function of it, how it insulates, but also helps with noise transfer from outside in. So kind of gives us an opportunity to go over that. Also, bringing them in here, we can show them how the structural wiring box for low voltage for SST. So explain about all the wiring. There's outlets in the bottom of it, so if they did want to put their equipment in there, they're able to do that. So usually make sure that's all cleaned out, looks good in there for them. Snaps back, talk about the heat pump overhead, tell them there's really no room for storage or anything, we don't recommend to put anything up overhead in the attic. So, and then just, have them walk through that to inspect everything. Then we're going to go back through, kind of head out towards the great room again and continue to follow the wall throughout. Right above the door here is also carbon monoxide and smoke detector, so touch on that as well. Explain, being that there is gas in the home, it's required to have a carbon monoxide detector as well. Then we just have standard outlet. We have data and coax jack here. So again, touch on that and explain some of those options. This house got the extended flooring package, so I would like to talk to them and explain where the tile would have stopped if it was standard, and being that it is an upgrade, it's just in the bedrooms that you're going to have the carpet. So again, we're going to follow the wall down. A lot of light switches here for the nook and also the great room, along with the ceiling fan pre-wire. So we have all those in there. Going to have them go through, look over all the cabinetry, something that we like to go through. Like to demonstrate how the gas stove works, talk to them about the clicking. Once it ignites, then you can adjust the flames. So I go through and light all 4 of them, show them that. Also explain to them that these burner caps do come off for cleaning purposes. So if for some reason they're not seated on there properly, the gas might not disperse evenly, it's not going to allow it to light, so just to check those. If it doesn't light right away, explain about the exhaust fan, so something that we can touch on and demonstrate. Also like to mention to them that it is vented to the outside of the home, so it's vented into the wall and out through the roof, and that way they don't lose any cabinet space above, so the ductwork's not actually in the cabinet, it's built into the wall. Brush up on the GFCI outlets here. Also the 2 on the end of the island. I believe the one here also is USB, so that's the 3rd one that we put in the home. Point out where the water shutoffs are underneath the sink here. And then we would also explain and go over garbage disposal switch. And then I would demonstrate how the tool for the garbage disposal works. Right in the bottom, freeze that up if the blades aren't spinning freely. So we have that. Check these periodically. The vibration from the disposal might loosen them, so it's a good thing to just come through and double check that those are all hand tight. The sink stoppers are here in the bathroom. Demonstrate how the faucet works as well. Talk to them about the refrigerator. With the ice, I always like to point out where that is. Probably going to want to dump this. Might taste a little plasticky the first couple batches, so it's always a good thing to dump that out. Point out where your filter is, so they know where to replace that. Talk to them about the water shutoff behind the refrigerator, and also the secondary shut off underneath the sink, so that way they know if for some reason one's not working that they would need to check the other one. Moving over here to the hallway, overhead you have the main air return. So again, another filter location. Explain the fresh air filter. So there's actually 2 filters at this one location. I recommend 30 days of runtime to replace them. So that's what we tell everybody. We're going to continue over here into the bedroom. So this is a 4-bedroom house. So pretty much the same thing as we do in the other bedrooms. Explain air supply, ceiling fan pre-wire, the outlets around the room, including the half-hot outlet over here, the smoke detector above the door, and then I talked to them about the transfer vents. So outside, I just explained the transfer vents overhead, if the door is closed, how it helps stabilize the pressure and the temperature if the door is closed off. Another smoke detector overhead, just per code. Thermostat, going to go through it, explain it's digital, it's programmable. You can program it for a run schedule or just the permanent hold. Use the arrows up or down to adjust the temperatures. The fan mode is on, auto, or circulate. So again, walk them through all those features and functions. The mode is heat, cool, emergency heat, or off. So I explained to them when to use emergency heat. Explain how it is a heat pump, not a gas furnace. So in extreme cold temperatures, if it couldn't keep up with the demand of what it's set at, to go ahead and run it in the emergency heat, but it's just not as cost efficient as just the standard heat pump. So heat and cool are really the two things that you're going to want to use. Some other basic features and functions of that, how it is Wi-Fi capable, so you could download the app, control it from a phone. So that's some features there at the thermostat. Leading here into the into the hall bath. Just talk to them about light switches, water shutoffs behind the toilet, underneath the sink. Have them look over the bathtub, the flooring, countertops, mirrors, all of that stuff. So everything's looking pretty good in here. There's a little shelving unit behind the door that, again, have them touch on and kind of look over all the surfaces. We're going to just jump over to this laundry room here, or laundry closet. So they chose to have a washer and dryer. So explain that not only is it electric, but it is also prepped for gas. So if we did not supply a washer and dryer, they have the ability to choose gas or electric. Talk to them about your water shutoffs, the discharge, how the exhaust vent is recessed into the wall, so it doesn't cause the flex to get kinked or bunched up. So it's a little bit better airflow through that. You have exhaust fan overhead along with the light. Controls for that are right here. Standard would be a shelf. They upgraded for the optional cabinets. So again, explain and go over all their upgrades as we go through each room. So I'd like to touch on all that. And then just 2 bedrooms side by side. So again, just fan pre-wire, outlets around the floor, data and coax, the switches on the wall, smoke detector overhead, heating and cooling supply, along with the transfer vent above the door. Touch on the windows if they have any more questions on that part of it. As I go through the house too, I like to talk to them about the paint. So you have the flat and the semi-gloss. Flat's going to be on all the walls. Semi-gloss are going to be doors, baseboards, trim, bathrooms, and kitchen. So we got all that. And then just the last bedroom here, again with the optional upgrade of the coax and the data, ceiling fan pre-wire in all the bedrooms, standard outlets around the room except the half hot. So we have that here. And then just have them, look over everything, see if they have any questions. A walk-in closet with the light switch inside. So it pretty much takes care of the inside of the house. Again, ask them if they have any questions as we went through this prior to us kind of going outside. That way, it kind of jogs my memory. And if we needed to, we could go back to the computer, write everything down. But as of right now, we're going to head into the garage. So as we go through the garage, I explained how this is a fire rated door, solid core, talk to them about the threshold again, so that way they know they can adjust it, that it is self-closing as well per code. So it's required to have that self-closing hinges on it. Once we get out here in the garage, just talk to them about the standard outlet here. Per the electrical option, it gets a dedicated outlet. We mark it with a little black dot to let them know that that is the 20 amp dedicated circuit for a refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and open up the garage door so we can explain and go over that. So we've got the main wall button here. I explained how it is Wi-Fi capable. So again, you can download the MyQ app. Control it remotely once they get Wi-Fi to the house. Explain if the power was ever to go out, what the red handle is here for. Pull that down. You can manually raise this up or down. So if for some reason they needed to, they would be able to get out of the garage if their vehicle was in it. I'll talk to them about the sensors on the sides of it. It does shoot a beam across that. If anything obstructs it or is in the way, it's not going to allow the door to go down. I also tell them sometimes the sun blinds those sensors to where it's going to read it as if something's obstructing it, but actually what it is the sun beating down on it and blinding that eye. If it doesn't work, I explain how they need to adjust it to just try to get it to line up so that the door can go down. Another standard outlet here in the garage is over here on the right hand side. Leads us over to the water heater. Out here at Celebration, we actually have tankless water heaters. You have all water shutoffs along with your gas shutoff. And then you've got a pressure relief line as well. So all of that's right here. Gives you some operating instructions down along the side here. So if anything was to go out, what they would need to do to relight it. You got your temperature controls right here, registration card. So you'd want to send that in as well. And then we do have some extra flooring material as well. So we got some extra tile along with some extra grout. So I always like to put all the tile here along with the grout, usually in the garage. If there's any carpet remnants or anything like that, I'll usually leave those in the master closet. That way it's kind of out of the elements. 2 LED lights overhead. So we got those as well. And then from here, we're going to just transition and walk the outside. So just a few things I like to touch on. One, I'll talk to them about post-tension foundation so they can't cut core drill into it. Explain the little drip edge right here so water doesn't actually go underneath the door and up onto the floor. And explain how it is sloped and slanted out so they could wash the garage out and let it drain out. So we're going to start over here on the right-hand side. We only have one coach light on the exterior of the home. It's photocell controlled, so the sensor for that is around the side, so I explain how that works. We're going to walk over here. I like to touch on the main water shutoff. So again, I'll tell them if the handle's in line with the pipe, you know it's on. If you needed to shut it off to the house, it'd just be a quarter of a turn to shut off all the water going into the home. Or where it tees off for your irrigation, they have also a separate shut off for that, along with the valve. It is all pipe wrapped for freeze protection, but when it is going to freeze, you want to put something over the top of the valve itself. If it's one of the insulation sleeves or even just a towel or something to help with freeze protection. We're going to go inside here. This is where the filter is. Explain how you can remove this, turn the water off, remove this, and then right inside there's that filter you can hose off. It's reusable, and then just put it back in there. Keeps from debris getting down into the drip lines. Make sure we turn all that back on. Coming down here, I just kind of explain what these things are. So you got the pressure relief line coming off of the water heater, the vent coming off of the water heater as well, and then just make sure that the drainage is free to allow the water to drain out towards the front. So it's an 8 draining lot, so everything is going to drain to the front yard. So I explained that as well. Then we're going to work our way around the other side. Excuse me. Bring them down here and we can kind of show them where the water meter is. So if they can't shut it off at the house, we can come in here and explain and shut off the main shut off here or here. Easiest way is there at the house, but if they can't, then they have a next option to come over here. Explains clean out. So this is going to be a city sewer clean out. And then you got the main clean outs up there by the front of the house. So we'll continue to walk up here. Talk to them about irrigation, warranted for a year. Plants are warranted for 6 months, trees for 1 year through Santa Rita. They do need to contact us if there was a dead plant. It's not like we're just going to come out here and replace something. Over here we do got more clean outs. So these are the main house clean outs. A little bit buried, so I probably expose these a little bit so they can see the caps along with the backflow valve. Tell them, you know, they need to be able to get into them if they needed to. If there's ever a backup, that's the way they would know where they are. We do camera the main line through there, so I explained that as well, that Brewer or the plumbing company would go through and do that. Talk to them about drainage in the backyard as well as we get there. Doorbell button, GFCI outlet here. And then making our way down here, we got the gas meter. Explain the shutoff for it here. I also explained the shutoffs in the house. So 3-point gas in the home, at the stove, the water heater, and the dryer. And I'll explain that all 3 of those places also have a shutoff. The conduit for Comcast. Behind the 2 cover plates are going to be your low volt wires from this place. They go through the walls into the master closet, into the structural wiring box, and then from there distribute out to each room in the house that has a jack set up for it. Here we got irrigation timer. It's already all set up and programmed per Santa Rita. I like to go through and just double check as we go through there, so it gives us the current date and time. It starts at 7:30, runs for an hour and a half, and goes every day. So I explain as it gets a little cooler or warmer that they will have to adjust the duration or the time. It is expandable as well, so you could run an additional valve or zone off of that if you needed to. Your electrical panel, everything marked and labeled. Talk to them about the arc fault breakers along with the GFI breakers, how you would reset a breaker. If it was in the trip location like it shows, you would have to turn it all the way off, then turn it back on to get it to reset. The main breaker, you know, is going to shut everything off, so if they're going to be doing any electrical work, we recommend to turn the main breaker off. You can put a padlock on it if you want. Some people question or ask that. Here we are. This is the eye for the photocell, so that's going to control the coach light on the front of the house by the garage. We're going to walk through, point out condensation drain. So you got your primary condensation drain, normal for it to be draining, dripping water. If it ever got backed up or if there's too much water, it will drain out of the overflow, which is above a window. We put it above the window, so it is a little bit more obvious place to see. That way, you know, as they're inside, they can notice it if it is dripping. And then we're going to continue through the backyard. Again, positive drainage all the way up to the front. You have backyard hose bib opposite from the front of the home. So the main service is on the front right. So the backyard is going to be on the back left hose bib here. We have GFCI outlet here on the patio. Your controls for the ceiling fan along with the light controls are all going to be on the inside of the door. And then explain positive drainage. So what I tell them about positive drainage is I show them where the high point is. So it's going to be that back right corner. And then it's all going to drain through a little channel through here and out through the gate. Or it's going to go around that side of the house through the wheat block. So if they're going to, you know, landscape their backyard, extend your patio, put in a pool, anything like that, we got to just make sure that it drains away from the foundation and out towards the front. If they alter it, once they alter it, they're taking responsibility for it. And then over here is just going to be the condensing unit for the air conditioner. So we have the condensing unit here, nice and level, so it positioned well, along with the GFI outlet. Disconnect for power for that, so that would be right there. And then again, you have the drainage around the side and out through the weed block. Once we get done, going over the outside, the garage, answering any other questions, we're going to go back inside. So we'll head back in. And then, we'll go over all the paperwork. So we're going to head back in here. So then at this point, we have all the paperwork all ready for them, already filled out. If there was any items on that, we're going to go ahead, fill that out, get all their contact information, figure out, who the emails, phone numbers, all of that to put into their file. Go over how we're going to do the welcome home review with them. If they're available at that time to give us dates 3 weeks out, we try to set those dates. If unfortunately they don't have their schedule with them, then we'll just let them know that we're going to reach out to them right around 2 weeks to schedule that welcome home review. Go through that, touch on all the warranty information as well, and have them fill out positive drainage and the orientation and get that all signed. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, appreciate your time. Thanks.